Hello, my name is Hassan Akmal. I'm the Executive Director of Career and Professional Development. I'm fortunate enough to be a part of this team, 5-Axis Aggregators. I want to give a shout out to my team members, Maricela, Danielle, Stephanie, Lisa, and Boning. We hope that you'll enjoy our presentation on empowering futures in meaningful research. And we really enjoyed working together on what I really kind of describe as more of a design sprint experience. And we're excited to share some brief insights on how really the work landscape has changed for students and even the career development strategy in terms of what we're trying to employ to scale undergraduate research and impact. So through this presentation, you will see that we are intending to broaden our reach and share some thoughts on also the greater context in terms of the current state of work, trends shaping the future, and why we need programs such as the one that we will be proposing today to assist with some of the necessary adaptations as we turn the page to this next era. And in light of really reframing our focus, the power in doing that in terms of casting a wider net to really bring in more students that may have otherwise passed up the opportunity to review and explore a research path. So we hope you'll enjoy it. We are living in what I call a living laboratory in terms of UC San Diego, and our team was charged with addressing one critical problem state that we, effectively reframe by going 7 levels deep on our why. And that problem statement was, at least the preliminary problem statement was, how might we help researchers present opportunities to undergraduates in order to increase awareness, increase qualified applications, and improve research readiness. And the reframe was really kind of the larger umbrella because it's really connected. And I describe it as, how might we help UC San Diego undergraduate research students align meaningful work and purpose? And that really was a result of going 7 levels deep on that problem statement about what is it really about when it comes to research, and are we doing a good enough job connecting the impact of research to meaningful work and purpose in a way or in a story that resonates with students. You see, there's no major in careers. When we think about the students at UC San Diego, many of them spend more time putting together IKEA furniture than they do really thinking about mapping out their career. And over the past decade, the word career has really been redefined. For the first time ever, you're seeing more people leave scripted lives than being laid off, and they're in search of more meaning, more purpose. And many individuals today have multiple careers over a lifetime. So they have sort of their initial internships or student employment that lead to full-time jobs in many cases, and then they have many careers over a lifetime, and they pivot as well, actually up to 15 to 20, and even multiple careers at the same time. So the challenge was really understanding the complex landscape of undergraduate research and recognizing the need for students to align their meaningful work with their academic pursuits. The overarching goal was to provide a solution that not only fosters academic growth, but also instills a sense of purpose in the work that is undertaken. Simultaneously, the absence of a dedicated tool on campus to pursue various opportunities that posed a challenge. There's so many moving parts on campus, and most students don't associate research with meaningful work. We wanted a way to stitch these efforts in together, to partner in parallel efforts in what I call radical collaboration and alignment with our stakeholders across this beautiful institution. We also wanted to broaden the definition of our target, meaning meaningful work versus not just research. And we landed on meaningful research. This way, and through success stories of those experiences, which we directly can impact and control, it would magnetize and draw students to research after hearing the impact of others and those beautiful, impactful stories. So the stakeholders map included all undergraduate students, STEM, non-STEM, 1st to 5th plus years, transfer students, really all student demographics. You could even say that it could include potential students. You know, when you think about students that are touring the campus or high school students that are kind of looking, but that's kind of more secondary. But still, it's part of the value that we offer, and potential pipeline for the future. The challenge helping students associate research with meaningful work and really encouraging a sense of belonging in the research community. In terms of undergraduate research programs, the challenge really reaching a wider audience of undergraduates to find the most suitable candidates. We know that the future of work is about well-being, inspiration, stories, as much as it is about organizations and people thriving, and the research and the importance of that research. But we asked ourselves the question, how far will the right answers to the wrong questions get you? And we know that's not very far. So we understand that we're in a new era of social mobility in what I call career and life design. So it's very much about experimentation and iteration. Students also, they essentially need to prototype their careers and try research experiences and internships and see whether or not they like it. They are really the chief architects of their young careers and lives, and they need to, we actually are really, it's really vital for us to be celebrating those stories, because these stories diversify us, they humanize us, they inspire us, they transform us. And these students really aren't just building a career profile, they are building a career and life profile of experiences. They are building a portfolio. We know that 84% of Gen Z and 87% of millennials, according to LinkedIn, feel that meaningful work and purpose is one of the most important considerations in terms of their career alignment. So career development is about finding that alignment with your true self and what's important to you in the situations that bring out the best in you, and really better understanding yourself and aligning with who you truly are. It's not just about resumes. It's about, you build, there's a saying, don't build a resume, build a life, right? So it's not about who you want to become and the impact you want to make. It's also about how to get there and who you are right now. And many students don't have the clarity in terms of that career and life vision and how to move up to that destination. So in a sense, UC San Diego, in the bigger context of things and why it's important for our work is, the future of career development is evolving and it's changed, and the UC San Diego Career Center is reimagining career services, which is a holistic transformation because our very own careers are changing. So, essentially it's like you're writing your own story. The process of career life design, it shares a profound resemblance to an author crafting a book, with one significant difference, right? The student seeking career development is not an expert penning a thesis, but rather an individual embarking on a journey of self-discovery. They don't write because they possess expertise in a subject matter. They write because they are curious explorers of their own potential. And this lends itself to that wonderful research path. So their journey is a narrative of research and investigation, an exploration of the self, and an endeavor to uncover the deepest truths about who they are and the meaning they seek in that research, or outside that research in their life. In essence, they are the authors of the most intricate and unique book ever penned, the story of themselves. So in understanding all of this, we looked at our observations and really tried to lead with empathy. And we identified the Triton Career Readiness Passport as a potential solution. And in short, it empowers UC San Diego undergraduate research students on their path to meaningful work and purposeful academic and professional pursuits. And we looked through research analysis, existing data available by the Career Center on the challenges faced by undergraduate research students. We found that very helpful in terms of our next steps, because we learned that there's a career readiness gap. And that gap also impacts research opportunities. So, for example, NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, has 8 competencies. And in almost every competency, with the exception of digital technology, employers rate students lower than students rate themselves. So in light of this, we want to bridge that gap. And UC San Diego is really championing career readiness on an institutional level and understands that skills are the new currency. So the Triton Career Readiness Passport, which was debuted in September of 2021, was born from the realization that the future of work demands clarity, skills, and a personal and professional alignment. So in light of this, we identified this as a solution, and through design thinking, we began to ideate and integrate this powerful tool into the vision in terms of the research and academic environment. The tool itself helps students holistically begin their career and life journey. It's a uniquely curated roadmap to effectively design your career and life. It's a digital passport, and it engages students through a plethora of career-related preparedness activities, reflections, conferences, events, and it also serves as a personal and professional development checklist, which lends itself to our proposal as well in terms of having a research checklist that can be embedded within this passport, which we'll get into in a little bit later. But we mentioned personal and professional development, and we mentioned personal first because we always begin with the person. The passport is really intended to help students build confidence and skills that further develop their personal brand, but it also invites students and engages students in different pathways and programs across campus, which is conveniently found in one passport for them. They build a career profile, they align a portfolio of experiences, and they also attain Triton Career Readiness stamps for attending different kinds of activities, including the one that we propose to be embedded in the next iteration. Also, we are using and leveraging the institutional's UC San Diego competencies as the foundation of this robust passport, because it is really a career readiness framework which is built off of the National Association of Colleges and Employers NACE competencies. And that's a dynamic framework intended to really thread collective impact efforts and integrate learning across the entire campus and bridge that career readiness gap. And that's something that we can confidently do through research opportunities as well. In terms of engagement, we surveyed various programs, including undergraduate students, categories that they accept. And we looked at the compensation, payments, academic credit, et cetera, as well as CCR. and whether students needed to come up with a new idea versus joining an existing project. We conducted in-depth research on the challenges faced by the undergraduate research students. We explored the existing campus tools and resources related to career readiness, and that also included analyzing the data at the Career Center, looking at existing campus tools, like I mentioned earlier, but also conducting, a good look at the AEIOU on the Undergraduate Research Hub. We also focused on radical collaboration with stakeholders, including engaging with faculty, career advisors, coaches, and students to gather insights on understanding their needs. And we formed partnerships such as the Career Center or Teaching and Learning Commons, which are embedded in this. Some of their feedback has been embedded into this presentation deck, and formed those partnerships with relevant campus departments to align the initiatives with the existing programs and some of the ones that we are intending to propose. The design and development aspect really was about crafting a user-friendly prototype that seamlessly integrates into the Triton Career Readiness Passport. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel if we had something that was working. And we also wanted to build off of the forward momentum of the passport, since over 1,000 students to date have already completed the Triton Career Readiness assessment embedded in the passport. So it's off to a really great start. And we wanted to integrate our prototype into the passport, but be tailored to undergraduate research students. So this would ensure accessibility, kind of more of intuitive navigation, and the compatibility with existing campus systems. Now, challenges faced with that, the iterations of the passport only happen on an annual basis, but this summer is the next opportunity where we could build this in. And while that's not a barrier, we do have to wait until the summer to build the content into the existing pilot. Now, some of the takeaways from the surveys included programs want to expand, but they're limited by resources. No surprises there. One of those is faculty mentor availability, funding, donations. Also, limited resources means that they must be more selective with the students they accept, and also more creative with the resources. And limited responses from program directors. More research is really needed on the variety of programs on campus, but just to give you kind of a snapshot. We also understood the importance of identity and career alignment. Identity is a combination of physical and emotional traits. And in more human terms, we see identity as a person's social and cultural experiences, values, and unique lens in which they navigate in the world. But if we want to understand where students are going, we have to be empathetic to where they are coming from. There's a LinkedIn quote on Gen Z, and they seek meaning and fulfillment in their work, and they are passionate about aligning personal values with the organizations they choose to work for. Who our students are, how they see and understand themselves, their identity is an integral part to how they show up professionally. And the research that they want to immerse themselves in really needs to align with the impact and their core values that they're trying to make in this world. So through it all, right, UC San Diego, we strive to create a brave and inclusive space that embraces diversity in all of its forms. And this is another example of something that's in the passport, which really we wanted to make sure that we're factoring identity into our considerations when it comes to scale and alignment and integration, right? And we encountered challenges in aligning meaningful work with academic pursuits. due to the diverse nature of undergraduate research projects. The diversity of our students are what's important to them. So we want to work collaboratively to develop flexible frameworks that accommodate a wide range of research areas. Our synthesis matrix, it was very interesting in terms of, key stakeholders were the undergraduate students of all backgrounds and undergraduate research programs, whether that was TRELS, LAPE, and other programs on campus. And the key need really in kind of synthesizing, this last, couple months was that we realized we need to help students better prepare to apply to research programs. We need to make it crystal clear. We need to make it obvious. So programs can receive more suitable applicants in their target group. And we need to also align with the collective impact efforts, including the CCR, the co-curricular record, and the power of stories. I remember when I was an undergraduate student, I landed a position at the Salk Institute, and all I knew was that it was prestigious, and I applied, but I hadn't really connected it to the bigger picture, and nobody was really guiding me in terms of why it's important, or the timing, and when to do it, and how to position it on my resume afterwards. There was just a lot of question marks in terms of how this all fits in, and how students even find these opportunities, where they're posted. What does the funnel look like in terms of this? So we understand that we need to broaden it and diversify it. The UC San Diego competencies, for those that are not that familiar with it, right, are readily available. They're up and live, and they will be getting another review in the near coming future. But we also face technical hurdles in terms of integrating the passport, the prototype that we intend for the passport into the campus infrastructure overall, because it's a PDF, and ideally we want it to be a gamified course or an app that can be built by students for students. But fortunately, the Career Center, Teaching Learning Commons, they collaborate with IT and central marketing, and they leverage some innovative solutions to overcome some of these integration barriers. And the breakthrough, I think one of the breakthroughs that happened since we started this SPUR project was that the PDF was enhanced. It now includes clickable action items, which is very easy to use. So the tracking in terms of whether or not we had a research component in it would be mediated, in the sense that it'd be much easier to self-manage, which would empower students. And the stamps even would be clickable, so that would lend itself to scaling efforts with the new content that we propose. And this effort was also further aligned with the competencies, because the competencies are in the passport, and it feeds right into the co-curricular record, which students don't have the most awareness about, but there'll be active outreach efforts and workshops next year to raise awareness. And we hope that the passport and these workshops and our role through this research prototype will really help raise awareness, and also in some of these other areas, as they're all interconnected. So as we close, or closing soon, I just want to emphasize the journey, right? So if you think about design thinking and building your way forward, life design and design thinking is really part of the current paradigm that we also see ourselves in terms of holistically providing advice and support to students that might be interested in research as part of their career and life journey. So through the design thinking process, we can help work through a student's perceptions of success, for example, defining success, self-empathizing, and really helping them understand that they have multiple routes to a successful life as defined by them. And the customization and flexibility, it's wonderful because that was also a breakthrough because of it allows students, for example, in the passport, to tailor their experiences to unique research endeavors. So we kind of consider that as a breakthrough, because it's a customizable framework that is directly connected to what we are trying to achieve. Now, the impact of my higher education overall, all of these changes that we're seeing, tells us that, hey, higher education needs to evolve and adapt to changing workforce dynamics. And even that starts at the student employment level. So how student employment might connect to a late position or a research position, and really building a professional development checklist that would help student employees with their next step, which would in turn, in many cases, lend itself to raising awareness of other opportunities. So we wanted to highlight that this is also something that's inside of the passport, which could also directly connect to research opportunities. Now, competencies, for example, integrated into every JD for student employment is something that has been recently been adopted by the Student Employment Office. So, for example, when you look at a JD for job description for a student employment opportunity, it'll actually talk about the 3, 4, or 5 career readiness competencies, UC San Diego competencies that position actually tackles. Why is that important? Because the co-curricular record requires at least, 3 career development competencies in order to qualify. So now you have positions that are aligning with the co-curricular record. And in the same spirit, we are suggesting that the research opportunities also need to align with the competencies, so that way they can qualify for the co-curricular record. Now, that's a game changer, obviously, because it would scale the efforts between academic and co-curricular theory and practice, college and career, by creating opportunities for students to really learn by doing. And through our portfolio of programs, students are able to encourage real-world exploration through discovery of opportunities. They're also able to deepen learning by taking action, the doing, develop critical competencies. They're reviewing and reflecting on their learning along with acquired skills and knowledge. And they're building community and a network of colleagues and supporters and mentors, right, for research, by capturing their experiences, connecting with staff and faculty that can also share and celebrate their experiences and those stories, which we feel are so important. Co-curricular record is something that's live on the UC San Diego website, but essentially it's connected to a student's academic transcript. And we want these research opportunities to also connect to CCR, and many of them already are, but we also want to increase the awareness around it. And the Triton Career Readiness Passport, in a sense, serves as a career readiness badge to really share skills and experiences with employers and graduate programs, as does the CCR. So the great thing is the passport is already qualified into the CCR. So if a student participates in the passport, and let's say completes the passport, they will automatically be put into the CCR at the end of that passport completion. Now, the CCR also includes activity descriptions, involvement dates, and then again, those 3 career readiness competencies developed from each opportunity. There's an activity title. There's a position, sort of, if it's past tense position description for the ease of adding to a resume. There's involvement dates. There's also a number of departments that are really participating. I would say top participating departments would be student affairs, intercollegiate athletics, and student organizations. And we would love to have more of academics and research really involved. So here's a kind of sample prototype screenshot from the Passport. So if you look at and if you can envision a checklist for getting applications ready, we would build something very similar for research. These are, for example, 4 career development stages: assess, develop, immerse, engage. And then if you complete a percentage of, for example, 8 items in each category, you will get a stamp, and you see the stamp there in the bottom right-hand corner. The Triton Career Readiness Passport is live. It's available in Handshake. It has a research-ready certification embedded for TRELS. So this is also an example of something that we could build in terms of description. So 1-page description, 1 checklist, which culminates with sharing your story. So on the third screenshot to your right, where at the bottom it says share your story #UCU. So that link where it says submit your success story is actually a portal where students can submit their success stories, and then we can filter by research opportunities and really build a pipeline, a beautiful pipeline of celebration around research. The portal has the waiver to share their story. It has an opportunity to attach a headshot, and it has a framework and guidelines to really help students answer some of the questions to describe their path to the position that they landed, or to describe their experience after completing it. So it's really a wonderful tool, and we really hope that through our prototype, we'll be able to connect directly to that. And here is kind of a magnified version of that. Now, why we wanted to kind of close with success stories, because we really believe that that is one of the empowering aspects of scaling undergraduate research. We recognize the power of success stories in inspiring and guiding students and other students. And so we integrated a feature that highlights the success stories of undergraduate research students, fostering a sense of community and motivation. And now this was piggybacked off of the existing UCU, like I mentioned, sharing your story on page 50 of the Passport, which again includes that direct link. And it also embeds the ability to, streamline those efforts around headshots and waivers and things like that. So as each of us really flips through the pages of our own history into new chapters of self-discovery, think about your own career development, the narrative evolves and reflects personal growth, evolution, and transformation. And there's no final page, only an ever unfolding series of new events, right? We're reinventing ourselves, and we're charting a course towards greater fulfillment. And as we do that, so do our students. Now, this book that we're writing, each of us is writing, this life story is unparalleled and is irreplaceable, for there is only one story of you. A student of life's career development journey isn't confined to one professional role. It's an ongoing exploration of the multifaceted aspects of their identity. With each twist and turn, the narrative grows richer, the character more resilient, and the reader, the world, more captivated by the compelling tale of a well-lived life. In the end, it's the greatest book ever, not because it's published and bound, but because it's your living testament to the extraordinary journey of self-discovery and personal growth, as well as impact in research. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed what we had to share with you today, and I hope that you will find it meaningful and impactful. Thank you.